really, really hard, and they execute the system, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Trust.
He's pretty big trust.
Big trust, baby.
Hey, yes, sir.
Right on cue. Hey, right on cue. Hey, let me.
You're back on the Jumbo Set podcast. Tuesday night, October 29th, doing this one live as we had some big news come across the wire for the Ravens today. My name is Jake Luke. We are brought to you, as always, by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Also brought to you by Black Eyed Susan Hot Sauce Company and the Nevermore Hot Festival, which is coming up on Saturday, November 16th. It is noon to 6 p.m. at Peabody Heights Brewery in Baltimore. It is free to get in, try samples, and buy from over 20 hot sauce and craft vendors from all over the country. Live music is going to be there. One of the East Coast's best arcades, food from Fuzzy's Burgers, the local oyster, and Taharka Brothers Ice Cream. Festival-exclusive hot sauce called Jepson's Paw Paw by Black Eyed Susan Spice Company will be there, and a festival-exclusive beer called Fire Extinguisher Pilsner by Peabody Heights Brewery. All info available at nevermorehot.com and on Instagram at nevermorehot, a hot sauce festival. Jepson's Paw Paw uses the Eastern USA natives fruit, the pawpaw, and is named after Peabody Heights Brewery's cat, Jepson, which is adorable. So if you want to get out there, like I said, free to make your way over. More info at Nevermore Hot on IG and the website nevermorehot.com. Also check out blackeyedspices.com for all the good stuff they got going on. And if you want to make a purchase of any of their hot sauces, promo code is EXIT52 for 10% off at checkout. I'm joined by Spenny. How are we doing today, my friend? Interesting couple days here in Ravensland. Feels like things, as always, when you get a loss like this, and particularly, I think, coming off a 5-game win streak and everything, it felt like things were going right. People were talking about the trap game, the rat poison game. It seemed like things began to, things have sort of played out exactly as you would expect after a trap game. Discussions about the coaching staff, discussions about the defense, a lot of it very much warranted, I think. But today, just, out of the clouds, Eric DeCosta makes a big move, but it is not for defensive help. It is for wide receiver Diontae Johnson. How you feeling about all of that? Not just the move, but just the general vibe the last couple of days, my friend.
The move, I didn't predict Diontae Johnson, and I do think the Ravens have more of a propensity to trade for defensive players. It's a little easier to pick up a defensive system than try and get reps timing down with an offense. But what did I literally just say? What was it, Thursday maybe? I said the Ravens, I think, will make a move on Tuesday. Tuesday, they make a move. Look at me. The Ravens make a move. I called that, felt that one coming. So Diontae Johnson, a little surprised that they were the ones that leapt with the Chiefs, the Steelers, so many teams that could use a wide receiver and a little bit of depth. Think of the Eagles that are in a similar boat to Baltimore in a way. Like, I'm taking A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith over Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers. Sorry, fellas. But they could use a third. They could use a little something. The 49ers lose Ayuk. They could use a little something. And to get Johnson, who people are like, I don't know, no disrespect, people are posting film and stuff. Like, Ravens fans know Diontae Johnson. They played him 10 times. Played him a ton. He had good games against them. He is a South Florida receiver. Well, Tampa. He's a Central Florida, not too far, but he's a Florida receiver. He's a Jit. He is going to be able to play outside for you. He can play inside for you. He can play a more, he can run a little more 11 personnel. What did we say, Jake? What did I say was a huge concern of mine going into the season? What if Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman go down? That is scary. And we saw a little tiny clip of that happening when Zay Flowers bangs up his ankle on Monday Night Football against the Bucs. And it's just, it's as if they traded for air, basically. They're paying him $600. They have $600,000 in a cap hit. They move back at worst case, probably 20 spots. They still have 11 picks. They can still trade the Panthers pick, So all of those things, the fit of the offense, all that stuff. I look at, there's some comments that somebody, Sigmund Bloom, whatever his name is on Twitter, made a comment. He was like, I usually trust the Steelers. If they get rid of a wide receiver like Martavis Bryant or Antonio Brown or whoever the other one is, I can't remember, Claypool, then, they're usually right. the Yankees are having some wild stuff going on in a house.
Shout out to that fan who, what a scumbag, could have broken Mookie Betts' arm there. That guy needs to be dealt with expeditiously.
That was awful. That was terrible. It was an all-time, that's an all-time moment, I will say, but in a terrible way. Like, that's not quite Malice at the Palace stuff, but it's pretty.
If that guy were lower down, like if Mookie didn't have an angle to, go up and grab him, things could have happened there. And shout out to Freddie Freeman, our sweet prince.
Shout out to Frederick. But yeah, no-brainer trade for EDC. It cost nothing. It didn't cost anything. Diontae Johnson, someone that separates well, can play outside, can free up Zay Flowers to play in the slot, can just spell guys, keep guys a little fresher. Like, Nelson Aguilar is a fine player, but suddenly Nelson Aguilar is an excellent 4. Nelson Aguilar is an excellent 4. Okay, 3. And I don't know, just to be maybe purple tinted glasses, like, you think of the Ravens that won the Super Bowl and that were so good in those, late 2000s and early 2010s. They had Jacoby and Torrey Smith and Anquan Bolden all making plays. And they had 2 good tight ends in Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta. So they don't have that mega ultra alpha guy. I would maybe say Anquan Bolden is, a little more of a 1. But they have a lot of 2s. They've got 3 2s and 2 good tight ends and a Hall of Fame running back and a Hall of Fame quarterback in his prime. And the offensive line now, I mean, you can help your offensive line and you can be a little more diverse. You can run a little more 11 if you want. You can just be more multiple. You can keep guys fresh. You have more depth. Johnson's such a good separator. Shout out to Matt Harmon and Nate Tice, who were already dropping bombs.
I was just going to mention that clip. That was a good breakdown by those guys. Yeah,
what they got to is effectively that the Ravens are getting a lot of man coverage because teams want to put 8 in the box because they're scared of Lamar and Derrick Henry's legs. So now, no disrespect to Zay. Zay's 11th among wide receivers and receiving yards and has 360 yards in the last 4 games.
And he got hurt. I mean, he got hurt in that Bucs game. He played through it. That didn't look good when he got his ankle rolled on. And people were saying hip drop and everything. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Miss Lisa. It is a fresh look. I was telling Spenny I went at fully with the blade, and it was quite an experience. But yeah, clean shaven here.
Jake, for those listening and not watching, Jake just completely ripped the beard off. He looks like a brand new boy.
Legitimately a boy. I mean, it is stunning to me.
You already have a 5 o'clock shadow.
I look like I'm 22 and when I do this, and then I could pass for 35 when I have the full beard going. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. He got rolled that ankle rolled up on, and he played well throughout the rest of that game. He played really well in this game too. But 12 targets in this game, 7 catches. He outpaced the other receivers, Bateman and Aguilar. They both got 5 targets. They had 4 catches combined. Zay is the go-to guy for these wide receivers right now. He's already hurt. You mentioned the unlikelihood of him and Bateman both playing 34 games or whatever that's going to be. Aguilar, like you said, good 3, great 4. It kind of, this guy, Johnson is going to be able to bring a better dynamic to this offense than even Beckham did. And I thought Beckham was good last season. This could be a really, really good trade overall, I think. And you mentioned the separator aspect to it. You got your jump ball guys in Likely and in Andrews. You've got the running game with Jackson, with Henry. Justice Hill brings a little bit of both as far as the passing game and the running game. I mean, this is I totally get the consternation about not getting a defensive guy. I don't think people are as vocal about that as I expected, which is nice. And there's still time to do that. But overall, you add a strength to a strength. Separators on the wide receiving core. That's going to balance out what you have through the air with your other options there. And then the running game is still present. So I'm really liking it.
There's just no downside. There's none at all. You have depth. You have someone that can separate against man coverage. You have another toy, and you have someone that's, Florida. I liken it to maybe Emmanuel Sanders. The 49ers make a little trade, go get a player that's been – Emmanuel Sanders' highs on the Broncos were much higher, of course. But also, Emmanuel Sanders was playing with good Peyton Manning. Diontae Johnson has played with the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger, Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph. I mean, what was Charlie Batch throwing him passes at one point? Who the hell? I don't know what the hell the Steelers were doing at quarterback for the last few years.
Yeah, things of that nature.
Yes, and then they get to Andy Dalton and Bryce Young. And he played well with Andy. Played really well with Andy. And Andy looked solid. So certainly not Lamar Jackson. should be both insurance and an elevation and just bring more diversity overall. Such a solid move. Again, did not think the Ravens were going to pull the trigger on Johnson. The compensation, so little. They're not paying him anything. He walks after this year. Just, I don't know, man. Like, even if he's not good, he's still good. Even if he's fine. Even if he's the most average wide receiver in the NFL. Out of 32 teams running like, we'll say 2.5, let's say like 90 receivers a week get real target share, like a real game, get real run. And if he's 45, that's a good move. That is a good move. If he's the 45th best receiver in the NFL right now, that is a good move to bring in right now. Veteran player.
3.8 million cap hit. I think the Panthers eat some of that too. I mean,
they ate almost all of it. I think Jeff Zrebeck of The Athletic reported that the Panthers are eating all but $687,000. So they are eating virtually all of that money.
This is like, I mean,
and it's not like they didn't trade for Randy Moss. Like, he's not one of the best.
You know what? The Ravens have never sniffed trading for anyone like Randy Moss. The Ravens rarely sniff trading.
Whoa.
Well, okay.
They
I know what you're going to say.
What you're going to say. Trade for Terrell Owens for like 2 days.
They did. And yeah, shout out to T.O. for scuttling that and just completely setting in motion
my childhood.
In motion a course of events that would never be corrected as far as this wide receiving core goes. But the point being, they just don't make moves for wide receivers like this very often. And so it is funny, like, and I was saying this on Twitter, I think maybe people were misinterpreting my intent a little bit, where I was like, we're really in the bizarro world here right now, where they go and make a move for a brand name wide receiver who I think is an upgrade over what you have in some respects and is going to bring another element to this offense that is already very good. And people are now probably having a little bit of anxiety, myself included to an extent, that like probably could still use some help on the defensive side of the ball here. It's just funny. We are in bizarro world Ravens land right now.
This is probably there were some good receiving crews way back in the day, but under John Harbaugh, this is probably the second best group of receivers that a Ravens team has had at this point in terms of talent, in terms of diversity of skill set. And I'm not discounting Aguilar in that at all whatsoever. I like Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar made a tough catch, scored a big touchdown. He blocks. He does the dirty things. He can play a little inside, a little outside, can take the top off, run some crossers and things like that. So, yeah, in lieu of that, the Ravens defense, again, it's still going on. It's the same thing that happens every time they lose a game. Someone has to be fired if they lose a football game. Harbaugh has to be fired when the Ravens lose. Zach Orr has to be fired. Someone has to go. Someone's got to go. Who are they going to acquire defensively? I don't know. Have they looked great this year? No, they've had one good game. You know, they held the Cowboys in check. I think they did an okay job against the Bucs. Really only the Bengals lit them up. The Chiefs did some things early. Who are they going to get back? Marlon Humphrey, Michael Pierce, Brent Urban, Marcus Williams getting back into the swing of things, hopefully. And
Wiggins.
Yeah. Five guys. So we're still going to do the thing until like Thursday. By the time we got my boy Derek here, we've interviewed Derek in here. What's up, Derek? Glad to have you. Yeah, he's a good player, right? He's a good separator. Diontae Johnson. Derek covers the Steelers.
I mean, sorry, you plug his. No,
go click on Steelers_DB for Derek and check out his content. Go check that out. Derek's awesome.
The meaningless last season's final week game. Who scored that game-winning touchdown? Mason Rudolph to Diontae Johnson. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. He drove a stake into the Ravens' heart in that last game of the year.
He did. So we can talk a lot about the defense, but just health is wealth, right? And they go out and sign a veteran to probably replace Michael Pierce, I would imagine, for the time being. I think Mikey Pierce games here.
I think they signed Josh Tupou, defensive tackle.
Josh Tupou, longtime Bengal. So picking up a couple divisional rival players, longtime Steeler, longtime Bengal for the most part there. And I don't know, Tom Pelissero, who's now with Underdog, tweeted out and said that he expects the Ravens to be done with like a big name thing. So not some crazy move going on. I think we might see the Ravens make a move that for some player that people say is washed or some player defensively that people are like, what, this guy's supposed to, and then he's probably going to play a little better in the Ravens system or something like that. We've seen them do that time and time again. But I do, again, to reiterate, defensive depth in the interior is a huge issue. You really have one guy that you want taking consistent downhill blocks and combo blocks in the run game in Travis Jones, and he's not healthy. Travis Jones needs to sit. He does not look good right now. So there's a lot here. We have Mark saying, hey, go bring in Calais Campbell. I think Calais Campbell might not get traded. He might just ask to be cut. I would imagine he's not making more than $5 million this year. Let's see. I would wager he's not making more. $2 million contract. I don't think anyone would even trade for him. And since he's a veteran player, he is a Hall of Very Good player, probably, maybe a Hall of Famer one day. You're not going to trade him to you're going to cut him, and he's going to sign with who he wants to sign. You're going to do right by him. So yeah, we got Judge Baltimore here. Would he be subject to waivers? Yeah, but
assuming he clears waivers, we saw this happen with a certain longtime Raven who was once let go by a team late in the season, and then those good old Kansas City Chiefs, my favorite franchise in the world, snatched him up, and he went and won a ring with them, and just absolutely dunked on me. Yet just a windmill.
You can refuse to play though. Sizzle could have refused to play. I will say that he could have said, "I'm not showing up. Good luck." What are they going to do? What? Okay. Are they just going to keep him on their roster?
They probably would. Knowing them and the way they operate, they probably would. Their existence is to just torture me. And they would have said, you know what, that's going to hurt this guy that, doesn't deserve it. So let's do that.
Yeah. So I do think the Ravens need to make a move. I would say we can get into the defensive conversation. I didn't bring up tape for tonight because it was just such a trash game. Overall, and there were so many backups. It's like, what am I going to go break down Jalen Armour-Davis's, backpedal and drive and how he's playing coverage? If the Ravens have to rely on Jalen Armour-Davis,
you should have done a sizzle reel of all of Eddie Jackson's dropped interceptions. And then
he was horrific. I actually should have. I will say Eddie Jackson has been a fantastic player since he was a boy through high school, through Bama, and in the NFL. He was horrific on Sunday. He was horrible. And it wasn't just the plays that you were seeing, the ball, the touchdown, the ball, he lets up a reception. He can't click and close, to use your favorite phrase, Jake. He cannot T-step, drop step, either one, and then drive and smack somebody and make a play. I think he fits the run okay, but he just does not look explosive driving downhill. And I do think I think for the Ravens to be successful, it's going to take another couple weeks. They need to figure it out by Thanksgiving. If they don't figure it out by then, they're not a real Super Bowl contender. But health is whatever. We always talk, of course, we always precursor health is important. They need to play nickel. They need to have Trenton Simpson stay on the field. They need to have him take his lumps experience. Now, he's been great. I think he's been very solid overall. He's not someone that's allowing big plays in coverage. He's not missing tackles. He doesn't appear to be out of place. He appears to be extremely communicative as well. Let the linebackers sit in there. Mollett is back. Work him in. He couldn't play a ton of snaps. He's probably not going to be able to for a few weeks as he gets back into football shape. I want to see Kyle Hamilton play more deep half safety if you're going to play middle of the field open. I want to see him rotate into the halves or the quarters. I want to, and Alex Haney here. Eddie Jackson's a good piece. He shouldn't be a starter. He should be playing 100% of snaps. But nickel, rotate Kyle Hamilton back more. I like Ardarius Washington on the field at times. Marcus Williams, we'll see, come back. I like Ardarius Washington in the slot. I like him playing some safety too. Mix him in. Maybe mix Marcus Williams in and out a little bit. But
we got a little bit of clarification from Harbaugh on that, but not much. It was a little more coach speak, saying he expects Marcus Williams to be back and playing good football for them soon. He did not elaborate on a timeline when he will be playing again. Again, just handling stuff internally, that kind of thing. And we speculated a little bit on that live show. It does just sound like they wanted to get him a mental reset, and they got that.
We've heard some little whispers. They just, they wanted to give the guy a break. Maybe he has some personal things going on or something too. So doesn't sound like it was anything over the top. But nickel, Simpson, Smith, Mollett or Washington in the slot, Pumphrey in the slot, rotate Wiggins in. I like B. Steve. I like Beast move. I like him. I like sticking him on the field still. So there's some versatility. Just let that be your base right now. Let that be your pillar that's holding you up. Just play that shit. We talked about it a little bit. Disguise a little bit less coverage, especially on shorter downs, like shorter distance downs, especially on third down. Less disguise. Use those great sim pressures. Like use your best ones in the biggest moments instead of, and they did. Kyle Hamilton gets the strip sack before the half. That was huge. But make it like that. Make it more keeping it in the chamber. And I think this defense can be quite all right. But I am really concerned about Michael Pierce. He could be out for a month. I don't know. I don't know what his injury is. We haven't seen the report yet. I'm just speculating that. I don't know if he's out for a month. I don't know if he's back limited tomorrow. But
he's older. He's had a lot of health things. Like shouldn't be shocking to anyone if he has to miss extended time.
Missed the entire COVID season from some health complications and concerns. So, yeah, I think they need defensive help still. Like, unfortunately, there's not a Donkey Kong Sue roaming around anymore. Seems like he's done. I don't know. There could be another vet somewhere. But, yeah, Campbell. The Panthers also have Ashawn Robinson. They also have Shai Tuttle. It's a bunch of those big boys. There's a bunch of them that are on rental contracts. Bring me another one. Bring me two of those. And figure shit out on the back end. I don't know. Like, with the one-armed man, he's been fine. Just chill things out. We talked about it. Zach Orr is paid $1 million. Roquan Smith is paid $100 million. Two all-pro linebackers, Zach Orr, Roquan Smith. Like, they know enough football to solve this shit. So do it. Do it. Again, why are you probably confident to have a younger defensive coordinator come in? Because you have Marlon Humphrey, $100 million corner, veteran, good, smart player. Roquan Smith, $100 million linebacker, good, smart player. You got guys like Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, younger on Kyle Hamilton's behalf. Williams, maybe not the best in the world anymore. Down up top, you got a $100 million defensive tackle. He's not playing like it necessarily right now. He's playing like a $50 million defensive tackle, but we'll see. Season's still young. So guys, like I said, they've been playing football 25 years, 20 years in some of their cases. Figure it out, man. Play better.
And that kind of seems to be what Jack Settleman is hinting at a little bit on Twitter. And we don't know the full story there, but it seems like he's saying, and
probably for like Marlon, I would imagine Marlon has some input into that.
That's what I was going to say. Put the pieces together. He hosts a podcast with Marlon Humphrey. He kind of seems to be hinting that the idea is like, look, everyone's coming after Zach Orr. Let's maybe take a step back a little bit and just recognize that the players have to play better. And I don't think that's Jack or Marlon insinuating that like guys aren't working hard enough or this or that. Shit, we've talked about these guys staying after practice, right, and getting extra reps in.
The whispers at Owings Mills. These guys are all staying late on their own accord.
And it's I think the way I interpret
Kyle
it,
Hamilton keeps talking about it every week. Like, no, that's not going to happen this week. We keep saying that, but like then it keeps happening.
Yeah, right. And like the way I interpret that is like, you know what? Like, let's all just take a step back. We all just got to fucking play better. And like, that's what it comes down to. And that's what a veteran leader of a team should say. Like, have your coaches back, tell your guys, look, just keep doing what you're doing, or, not on the field, obviously, but practice and, work wise off the field, keep doing what you're doing, calm things down. Let's, undercomplicate things a little bit.
And that's what is Zach Orr's fault, I think. Like, don't call a sim pressure on 3rd and 3 times in a row.
Right, exactly. It's just the overarching point that I'm probably being a little too long-winded in is let's just all take a deep breath and just get after it next week and just try to figure this thing out. Because right now, this is not going to turn. They're not just going to turn into the 2023 Ravens overnight. That's not going to happen, even if they get a Max Crosby, God forbid. Like, even if they got one of these big name guys, it's not just going to happen overnight. Like, there are systemic issues. I think some of it is play calling, to your point. I do think guys just need to play better. And like I said, it's going to be a process here. I think the way that I thought about this offensive line, I think I'm seeing that more in this defense than I am in them. And I had worries about this defense, but I didn't think they were going to be, having issues quite like this, and the conversation would be quite like this at this point. So yeah, I don't know. I have faith in the talent, or we'll see what happens. But overall, give it a couple more weeks before we start to really drive home the referendums about, throwing dirt on their grave. It's still, you got some more
Jake,
time.
You're wrong. They lost. Someone has to go.
Right. That's true.
Someone has to be fired.
Listen, is one of the worst things that this coaching staff ever did for themselves as far as a PR battle go is to fire their offensive coordinator midseason and then go win a Super Bowl. Largely as a result of that
mutiny.
There was. Listen, that's the standard now. It's like in a court case, like the standard gets set or whatever, the precedent gets set, and then you got to like always go back to that. So I kind of get why people have that reaction sometimes. And I don't know, I'm not a fire people guy, especially not mid-season, but I don't know, man. The precedent has been set.
It has. Free agent defensive lineman I'm looking at. We had a question here. Where was it? Here we go from Mark. Without a trade or waiting for Calais Campbell to be released, are there any vet IDL guys you have your eyes on to eat snaps? I can't find who's available right now that is just not on a team, but looking at next, like rental players overall, that would be very cheap, like conditional 7th round picks, probably. DJ Jones on the Broncos, they're probably not going to sell. BJ Hill on the Bengals probably won't sell to the Ravens. Javon Kinlaw on the Jets. Other than that, Sebastian Joseph Day. I would love Sebastian Joseph Day from the Titans, the longtime Ram. I think that would be an awesome addition. The Titans fucking stink. Quentin Jefferson on the Browns. Who else is there? Let's see. John Jenkins on the Raiders is another name. Linval Joseph from the Cowboys. Sure, like warm body. Cowboys probably won't sell. Who else is there? We talked about Calais Campbell. Jeremiah Ledbetter on the Jaguars. Mo Hurst on the Browns. Adam Butler on the Raiders. There's some names out there. Like, I don't know. I would be lying if I said I knew how all of those guys were playing in 2024, but there are probably some very cheap conditional 7th round opportunities or like a pick swap with a condition that you could get on some of those dudes. And man, it is necessary to acquire more beef to probably, if you could keep somebody on the piece wide, yeah. And Tupou was on the practice squad earlier this year. Yeah, he was in camp, I believe.
He had been there.
Yeah, I would imagine he plays Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Referring back to the Cameron v. Harbaugh 2012 case in which
boy.
Yeah.
Marlon Davidson, someone I really like. James Lynch, someone that I really like, both on the Titans.
You say Jane Lynch?
James Lynch.
Okay.
Out of Baylor. So there's some names. I don't know. Whoever the Patriot, let me check the Patriots depth chart here.
Where's Lawrence Guy at? Where's my guy Larry Guy?
He was sniffing around too. Did they sign him?
I think they had him for a visit. I don't know if that was this year or last.
Yeah, that's a good call, Jake. They might bring him in. I think the Patriots gave Devon Gotcho a bunch of money, so I would rule that out. Maybe Dietrich Wise. 6'5", 280 could play some 4 tech for you a little bit. I'm looking more towards maybe the 3 tech, 1 tech kind of guys, the nose guards and the linemen. Dietrich Wise can do a little bit of that. But bring me a Shy Tuttle, bring me maybe a Linval Joseph, bring me another nose tackle, and see if the Ravens can manipulate their roster a little bit. I guess somebody's gonna have to go on IR because of Diontae Johnson or get cut. And I know that Brian McFarlane at Raven Salary Cap was talking about that in order to make a spot, there's certain players, there's a certain rhythm to it. So we'll see how the Ravens correspond.
Derek Rivers on a Colts practice squad right now.
Yeah, sure.
I like Derek Rivers.
Yeah, physical player. So, yeah. Outside linebacker wise, this is the thing to me. And this is where I'm probably naive by being so confident in the Ravens. Justin Madubuike could turn it on if things start to gel and click and they can regain some of their form from last year in a way. Hardy will probably get cut. That would make a lot of sense, Anna. But in order to win a Super Bowl, you need to have a dominant pass rush. In order to win your conference, you need to have a dominant pass rush. I think that is the common denominator of all of the Super Bowl teams. If there's something you want to pull, if you go look at Super Bowl teams by year, let's see. So last year, obviously, Kansas City and San Francisco. Who jumps out? Chris Jones, Nick Bosa. Very good pass rushers. Before Chris Jones, and then Philadelphia, who had that sick, nasty Fletcher Cox, freaking Hassan Reddick, and They had five ample pass rushers, veterans. Oh my God, Brandon Graham, all those guys. Before that, it was the Rams. The Rams had Floyd and, of course, Aaron Donald. Against the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson was really dominant that year. Tampa Bay, their pass rush was fucking disgusting and destroyed the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, who also had a good pass rush. Before that, Kansas City, San Francisco. The Patriots, I don't know. Tom Brady doesn't really count, but Aaron Donald again. Some of the same Eagles team, the Patriots, the Falcons, I don't think had a crazy pass rush. They had somebody. Grady Jarrett was really good that year. I would maybe say that's like, Grady Jarrett's a good player, but he's not necessarily crazy.
Well, he had like that one amazing year, and then I think he kind of fell. And they had Vic Beasley at the time too. That might have been that big year for him. So
might have been that big year. That makes sense.
He had like one season with like 19 sacks, and then like never came close to that again.
But I mean, you have to be able to get pressure with 4. You have to be able to have your 4 down linemen get pressure. And I don't know, Clowney, people keep bringing up Clowney. He has a big salary, and I think he wants it. I think he wants it bad. It's like, what was it, $13 million, I believe, that they paid him. Let me look up here. I'll do my little Jamie. Great radio here, but let's see.
Just guys naming dudes.
Never mind. It's way less than I thought. $6 million cap hit, 1.2 base. And then 2020. Oh, they deferred a bunch of money. He has a $14 million cap hit next year. The Ravens could cut him if they traded for him, I believe. Panthers have to eat a bunch of money. So maybe. Maybe. I don't think the Ravens want to trade for him, though. Like, he was great last year. I don't know. I trust the Ravens to know whether that's worthwhile or not. I will say that for sure. But I don't know. I don't anticipate that monster move we discussed. If it was available, if you can get Max Crosby for, whatever, do it. Because like I just said, having an apex predator pass rusher seems to win Super Bowls and get you to the Super Bowl. And Madubuike was that last year in many ways, but haven't seen it so far this year. And Owe looked great at the beginning of the year, has not since. When you go look at next-gen stats get off, Madubuike and Owe have been hovering around 1 second, which to me says they're not trying to rush. They're trying to win their gap and not penetrate it. So ask them to win their gap a little bit more. How about that? Let Owe, who runs a 4.3, and Madubuike, who has like one of the best speed scores of any defensive lineman in the last 10 years, rush the passer really aggressively. Let them do that. So some younger quarterbacks, some maybe not as elite quarterbacks in the back half. Let these guys, grind their teeth and sharpen their swords.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen against Bo Nix this week, a guy who's very mobile, who I joked about the fact that he would just run diagonally backward and to the right on seemingly every single play at the start of the season. He's playing a lot better now. It seems like he's playing more within structure, probably an aid of not wanting to give Sean Payton a premature trip to the grave, because there's some Ferris Bueller in this player that we got to get out of him, as Sean Payton said about Bo Nix. So I don't know, man. I think it'll be an interesting test because Winston was not pressured much in this past game. A lot of clean pockets, a lot of easy looks. I think the Broncos will be trying to get that for Bo Nix. We'll see if Bo is able to keep his head on straight and kind of go to those easy looks throughout the game. So, yeah, man, I feel like those first couple series, not to get into that preview too much, are going to be pretty telling about what kind of game it's going to be. I feel like they're going to need to pressure him early and often.
Agreed. And shut down that run game, and it's tough. And these comments evoke here, we have to stop trying to get Owe to work out. It's been 5 years. He's a good player. Solid. He's not a superstar. I thought maybe he could be this year. He's not. And that's fine too. What do you mean get it to work out? So cut him because he's not great. He's fine.
Yeah, like you're not going to do any better than him this year. That's part of the discourse that I think is kind of tough.
He's not Max Crosby. He's not Trey Hendrickson. He's not premier edge rusher to be Nick Bosa. He's a fine player. He's a solid player. He's a good player.
He's like a Diontae Johnson of outside linebackers.
There you go. Exactly. He's a good player. They don't have that alpha presence. Clowney definitely was a little bit of that.
You kind of give me some Jim Calhoun vibes. They're not bad. They're good players. I fucked up. Look at me.
There you go.
Ryan Gomes.
Jim Calhoun. What a name that I haven't thought about in so long.
I fucked up. Look at me.
Oh, I fucked up.
Not bad. I don't know how many times you want me to say it.
I don't know how many times you want me to say it. I fucked up, okay?
God, that's a throwback right there.
With that in mind, if you are watching, we would love to have you on YouTube. If you like the Jim Calhoun impressions and maybe a little bit of the Ravens stuff, throw us a subscription. We will be giving away a Derrick Henry jersey live on this week's preview Thursday night, previewing the Broncos game. We'll be live again. If you want to participate, subscribe to the YouTube and send us a screenshot of you subscribed. You can do that via Instagram, Exit52. You can do it via Twitter, at Ravens for Dummies, at Jake Luke. That's LOUQUE. And you can do it to the Exit52 Twitter. Just send it in. We're going to announce one random person. I don't know what I'm going to do to make it random. I'm going to try my very best to figure that part out. There's a couple hundred entries, I believe, maybe 300 entries or so as I was tabulating, but try my best to make it completely randomized. So if you want to win a Derrick Henry jersey in a color of your choice and size of your choice, October 31st, Halloween.
Sounds
Give us
good.
that little thing there. Oh, here he is. And shout out to Eric, who does always listen, even though he doesn't like the Ravens, and just supports the boys.
That's just how good we are, I think.
That's
it's
true.
just like, man, I just can't miss out on. Yeah, I mean, if there's any endorsement as far as listening to this podcast, if you're a Ravens fan, we've got a Titans fan tuning into it religiously. So
certainly. Ryan Bratton here says he wants Chase Young. I don't care. He's just like, at this point, he is the classic, was drafted really high, so everybody wants to make him
got
into
the
something.
local, semi-local connection to
Sure.
it.
For
Yeah.
a sixth round pick, sure. Any player for a 6th round pick.
A lot of health stuff there, though. I feel like he'll get here and then he'll stub his toe and have turf toe and be out for the rest of the year. I just feel like,
Or, maybe it does work out. He's talented, but it just hasn't worked out for him. Eric just complaining in the comments here. What else?
I specifically asked you not to.
And we know this. We know that the Ravens last year, what we heard from our hashtag sources was that the Ravens were not interested in Chase Young because they were, and that there was a big medical ding on him. Big medical ding that prevented them from trading for him at the last minute. So it was a big issue, something structurally with him. So
something spinal.
I think it might have been neck. I don't know. Yeah. So there you go. Breaking news from a year ago.
Very nice.
Okay. Anything else come to mind? How are you feeling about this time of the year before we get out of here? I'm sleepy, but I'm enjoying being sleepy. The sun's going down.
I told you that I've been getting off the caffeine in the mornings. I've been going with the decaf coffee. Sleeping a lot better for the anxiety. It's kind of nice. I haven't fully sworn off caffeine. I still like my Coca-Cola with lunch here and there. But it's been nice. I've been stepping out, getting the smell of kind of the burnt leaves. The weather, it's not all the way to fall quite yet. But we're getting there, man. We had some nice fall weather today. I was walking around a little bit. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm not looking forward to it getting dark at 5 p.m. like you winter psychos seem to enjoy for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. Can't complain. How about you?
I've enjoyed being sleepy. It makes me sleepy this time of year because I start eating all the winter foods that I've wanted to eat, and that is bad boy food usually. Lots of meat, lots of cheese, lots of chili, things of that nature. Gets the old insulin going, gets the sleepies going, gets the belly all full. So I'm enjoying that though. I like being a big fat sleepy boy this time of the year.
Yeah, it's almost like hibernating a little bit. It's like you go into your cave and just sort of ruminate on things. Can we get a New York Jets minute? I will say I'm not going to do one, but my God, I'm finding myself like when Awful Announcing like tweets out the get up clips of the day. Awful Announcing did like a 5-tweet thread of get up clips all talking about the Jets. They did Greeny, they did Orlovsky, I think they did Damian Woody. I listened to all of them. They were all like 3 to 5 minutes each. And I don't know, I was just really reveling in it. It's like other teams did the Ravens a big favor this week. One of them being the New York Jets. Losing to the Patriots in that fashion. The other being our Chicago Bears dropping one to the commies there on the Maryland Miracle, the Metro Miracle, as I tried to get going. That tweet only got like 3 likes, sadly.
I just don't. Who cares about the Jets, man? Like, who cares?
That's what I was trying to say. I was like, this team does not deserve the press coverage they're getting, and then I find myself getting riled up by them. So I don't know.
it's quite a dazzling experience what the Jets have worked themselves into. We'll continue to monitor all situations in full coverage.
There is a kind of a Greek, I'm a fan of the classics. There's like a Greek tragedy element to it, which I think I'm kind of into right now.
Eric's just all sassy tonight. Probably his 3G.
Yeah, he's definitely gummied up or something going on. He's just sitting there watching the Yankees getting spanked. I'm actually not sure what the score is right now, so hopefully I didn't jinx anything. And he's loving life right now. The Orioles, that's far in the rear view mirror for him at this point. And the Titans aren't giving him much to really smile about either.
I feel like he likes that more. I feel like he doesn't even want the Titans to be good.
I think so too, unless they're I'm not calling him fair weather. I know he's still tuned in, but when they're not flying high, he's not puffing his chest out.
Maybe the comment of the evening, Nick Johnson here. Lamar could trade the Bills an MVP trophy for Ed Oliver. Bills fans would certainly take that.
Honestly, that's a pretty good burn, because they'll say no, this, that, and the other. But like, if they, in theory, like deep down, if you were to feed them truth serum, I think they absolutely, if they could rewrite history and give Josh Allen the MVP last year, they would give the Ravens Ed Oliver, which is hilarious.
They would. They want that thing bad. They want something. They just need something. Haven't won. They've won the division. They haven't won the conference. They haven't gotten their MVP. They haven't gotten offensive. Did Diggs win an offensive player of the year?
He might have. And I mean, breaking news on Diggs, out for the year for the Texans there. So another pretty damn good timing for the Ravens to get Diontae Johnson, with that coming out after that they had gotten him. And so Nico Collins
did not win offensive player of the year. No.
Okay. So yeah, no accolades there, but shit, man. I mean, both teams just won a Super Bowl. That's the thing about these two fan bases sparring about MVPs and all this kind of shit. It's literally just fighting for second place at this point. We should all come together and turn our guns on the real villains down in the Midwest there.
Ryan Bratton here could do the voodoo magic like Tomlin and Reed / Mahomes. The Steelers, the voodoo, the dark forces, the Antichrist Pittsburgh Steelers.
It makes me wonder if I'm the bad guy, right? It makes me wonder if I am not the hero in this story, because there is no God in the machine coming to save me like it does with them every fucking week. My God, that game last night, I didn't even watch that much of it. I was just watching baseball because I knew exactly what was going to happen. I tune in, that punt return happens for 1 minute, and I'm just like, yep, I'm good. I know exactly how this game is going to go. Every cupcake game that they get scheduled in Heinz Field so they can twirl their little fucking stupid towels and just get the easiest cupcake walk to a division title with Russell Wilson and Jussie. They're starting the year off for them. I don't know, man. It makes me wonder about myself sometimes.
Fair assessment, but no, they are the bad people. I know that. Joey Porter is a bad person. I know that because of what he did to Sweet Mormon Todd Heap many moons ago. They are the bad ones. Hines Ward, cheap shot aficionado. It's in their spirit. It's in their soul. That's what they are. That's Pittsburgh Steeler football. Pittsburgh Steeler football is hustling into people's ankles as the whistle is blown, or is maybe already blown. That is
and then kicking the door.
And hey, like this is the thing. And when we got that comment just now in the chat, the Ravens don't have that. When the Ravens go crazy, it's just like they have like a Tommy gun and they just like score. But it's not this shifting of the pressure in the air that the Steelers are able to somehow manufacture, where they just can drag you into they're like fucking Voldemort. They can just evil spirit you into the dirt and collect their little ghouls and goblins and horcruxes to go alongside them and figure out a way to make you make stupid fucking mistakes. And no one has made more stupid mistakes against the Steelers than the Ravens. So Diontae Johnson revenge game? I don't know. Mike Wallace torched the Steelers for a 95-yard touchdown. Diontae, possibly you. Are you interested? They dealt you. They think George Pickens is way cooler and cuter and funnier. So why don't you go make some plays against the Pittsburgh Steelers? If they brought him in and he plays 2 games and has 150 yards and 2 touchdowns and doesn't play another game, it's the best trade in Ravens history.
George Pickens, just an absolute traveling roadshow with that guy. He is like he's almost like the Jameis Winston of wide receivers. He's just like he's like Kramer out there in the end zone. Like, he's landing on 1 foot twice somehow and not scoring a touchdown. He's like coming down on that block. And just like, I don't even know what happened. He's quite something. And it's a roller coaster. When he's not getting the ball, he's going to let you know he's not getting the ball. And he's not happy.
I don't understand this comment. Baltimore football history says, and the Ravens are getting wide receivers. Yes, it's good. Good football players, good athletes are good to have on your sports teams. It's good to get good players to play on your sports team. No? Is that a bad take?
I would
Good
just
to
say
have good athletes?
they probably have been working the phones about defensive players too, and this one just kind of fell into their lap. So are you going to say no to it because you haven't gotten a defensive player?
600 grand. 600 grand. Okay, so the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35 in the Super Bowl. The Eagles beat the Patriots, 41-35 in the Super Bowl? Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, here in the comments. Just revolutionary stuff. Yeah, scoring more points is a bad thing. Best defense is a good offense. Is that not a phrase? Shout out to Tommy Tuberville as well tonight in the same vein, who is
where are you going with this?
Who's saying that the vice presidential candidate from the Blue Party said that it's a game of inches. And last time he checked, when he was a football coach at Auburn, that it's a game of yards, not inches. Who said football is a game of inches? Maybe Vince Lombardi said that. You fucking idiot. That one made me nuts. Tommy Tuberville.
He's the dark timeline Mike Leach.
Yes. He is. Yes. Well said.
Yeah. Tommy Tuberville. That guy, a lot going on there.
Baltimore's football history is just, you want to go back and forth. We can do it, man. What if Zay Flowers gets hurt? We just watched that happen.
He is hurt. He is hurt.
He's playing. He's on the injury report. Is that helpful? Is Diontae Johnson helpful to have if one of those guys misses time? I don't know. Ravens traded down 10 picks and 600 grand. What a stupid fucking trade. Why did they do that?
Yeah, no, he is hurt. I mean, like, you're probably going to have to win. So, I mean, regardless of how good your defense is, shit, man, we saw it last year against the Rams. Like, that defense was playing as well as anyone. Rams came into town. You had to win a shootout. I mean, it just happens in 2024, man. Defense is devalued. They're going to get penalized more. The deck is stacked against you defensively, and I can understand.
Yes, man. The Ravens could use a corner. What if Marlon gets hurt? What he is hurt? Yeah, they could use get Jalen Ramsey too. Get Justin Jefferson and Aaron Donald and fucking Tom Brady. Yes.
We got to get this guy to call in. We've got to just turn this into a debate show with you two. I'm going to moderate it.
Unbelievable. How? What is there to bitch about? Oh, why did we do that? They didn't lose anything. They got a receiver that gets 700 yards every year, and it has a fucking 1,000 yards a couple years ago for nickels and dimes and shekels. Just insane. See all this bullshit on Twitter. I'm fucking sick of it, man. I'm logging off.
I was gonna say you gotta go on one of your patented Twitter breaks there.
They're just unbelievable. No, I love Twitter. I'll never take a break. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
I kind of want to start doing it.
Return too. Yeah, some special teams vibe. Literally, what if they traded for a returner instead for a conditional 7th round pick? Like, yeah, can help. Yeah, Nick Johnson here. The Ravens scored 10 points in the AFC Championship game with this crew of players. Not Derrick Henry, but they scored 30 points a game last year. Depth is a bad thing. Having good players acquire. Why would they do that? Why would they trade down 10 spots to have a receiver who can probably get them fucking 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in the next half season?
What if Deontay Hardy gets hurt?
Keaton Mitchell, please. Don't even have him on offense for like a month. Just let him return the football. That's what I ask.
Have him play safety. I was getting a lot of comments today. Can Diontae Johnson play safety or corner? I was like, well, in theory, he probably could. I mean, look at Julian Edelman. He was getting back there, getting amongst it with the defensive backs.
Let Aguilar is a corner. He can't catch.
That's mean. Come on. It's an unnecessary.
Aguilar is just, I always liken him to Travis Taylor. I always like any receiver that fits this to Travis Taylor. When you can make the most unbelievable touchdown reception, contested, tight window, clutch moment, and then also drop a wide open pass that hits your hands on 3rd and 5. That's called a Travis Taylor.
Yeah, it's performance art. I mean, it's just like, and it's similar to Pickens a little bit, kind of just like making a game of it. Like let me go up for the big windmill. It's like the dunk contest. Like let me hit the big windmill dunk over the Kia, and then in my warm ups, I'm just gonna blank one off the top of the rim. They're just completely like miss the assignment.
I don't know. You're the kicker also from earlier this year. It might be off. I'm seeing too many doinks. Too many doinks. Too many. I don't know. Too many mishaps. The year of the kicker has been called off. The kickers are not as good as I thought.
I think Tucker is just dragging them all down. You want to talk about bad magic in the air? I think his struggles are going the rest of whatever the Dan Hansis kicker club. I think they're all kind of the lights have come on. It's 3 a.m. Everyone's a little bleary eyed. Maybe some people are coming down off of some illicit substances and they're being escorted to the door of the meatpacking district. The kicker club is officially closed.
Club kicker, you're done. It's over. You're done. And then the Browns had one doink in too, right? Karam did.
Yeah, that's God damn it. If he could have just fucking missed that, they would have been in field goal range. Tucker would have redeemed himself. We wouldn't be having these conversations.
And I tweeted all this, and I don't know.
Football is a game of yards. I've always said that.
Football is not a game of inches. Vince Lombardi was wrong about that one. Al Pacino too. Just who cares about inches, right? Kirk Cousins here. Good to see you, Captain Kirk. Bate has a ball bounced off his face, and Nelly can't catch either. We needed a sure-handed guy like Diontae.
Yeah, Deontay's got his.
Not care if you drop the football.
Deontay's got his drop issues too, to be clear. But
and then people are like, "Well, he hasn't dropped the ball much in the last 2 years, whatever." Sure, that's fine. That's all good and dandy. I think he doesn't have good hand positioning. Like Chris Godwin has not dropped a pass this year. I think he dropped one last year. He has great hands. Monroe St. Brown rarely drops the ball. Those guys, those bigger slot guys can't drop passes because they have a less margin for error, and they're maybe not as vertically explosive. They can't get to some balls that are kind of floating, can't go put a paw on it. I think drops are a funny, fickle thing. And a lot of times the DK Metcalfs, the Jamar Chases, the, Justin Jeffersons, they'll drop a lot of passes because they can make some crazy plays. And then you're like, oh, he dropped it. But it was like, yeah, but would wide receiver 51 in the NFL have gotten to that ball? Probably not. So all subjective and relative. It's a fun topic, but yeah, Bateman, 2 brutal drops, Aguilar, brutal drop, Kyle Hamilton, brutal drop, Eddie Jackson.
The Bateman, by the way, I think the broadcast even said this, like the sun hitting him. I don't know if that was the issue. He definitely lost his footing, and that totally threw his timing off. Like he could have caught that like a punt with the sun in his eyes if he had just kept his footing.
If he knew where the ball was, then yeah, I don't know. You can fall and get your hands on the ball. I don't know. Maybe he was just sussy lying and covering himself. Being like, oh, maybe. I don't know.
Get him a smoked out visor.
Some shining. Visor, I don't know, man. Visors are weird. I haven't put a visor on a helmet and stuck it on my head in a long time, but I did not like the way it helped with the sun. I think you could get some weird glare still.
Interesting. Some
weird stuff. I mean, we watch baseball players with Ricky Henderson's on lose the ball in the sun all the time.
It's true.
Sun got to try to catch the sun.
Got to get Bateman in the Tom Amansky school.
He has bad hands. Bateman has bad hands. Aguilar has bad hands. Diontae Johnson has bad hands. I don't think Zay Flowers has great hands either. I don't think the Ravens care. Hands. Who needs them?
It's true. Okay. Anything else you're ruminating on?
Orlando Jones. What was the actor's name? The replacements with the goo on his hands. Orlando Jones?
I haven't seen that in way too long. Need to watch that again.
Orlando Jones, Clifford Franklin. That's what we're looking for. Orlando Jones. Yeah, Clifford Franklin.
Okay.
Clifford Franklin.
Maybe they got to start doing the stick-em again. Shout out to Jerry Rice. Just bathe in the shit before the game. Just get a vat of it in the locker room.
Yep. Why not? Why not? I think that does it.
Okay. Well, we thank you guys for listening to this special live edition of the Jumbo Set Podcast, breaking down the Diontae Johnson trade, talking a little bit of that Browns game, which we are eager to get out of our memories. And we will be doing that officially on Thursday night, as we will go live to preview the Broncos game and also give away a Derrick Henry jersey. So to make sure you're in the running for that, if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the show here on YouTube and DM it to Spenny at Ravens4Dummies. That is the number 4. You can do it also at Exit 52 Podcast. I am at Jake Luke. That's LOUQUE. You can find Brian at Barstool Banks. You can find Eric at EDITTI22. Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Thanks as always to our partners, Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Black Eyed Susan Spices in particular. Check out at Nevermore Hot on Instagram if you're interested in making it out to the Nevermore Hot Festival on Saturday, November 16th. We'll talk to you guys again very soon. Until then, take it easy. Arrivederci.
play really, really hard, and they execute the system, and that's what it's all about.
There
Yes, sir.
it is.
Trust.
He's pretty big trust.
Big trust, baby.
Hey, yes, sir.
Right on cue. Hey, right on cue. Hey, let me.